If you've ever sat in the quiet after someone's final breath and wondered where they went, you're not alone. The body goes still. Breath fades. But some presence remains. You may have felt it. A lingering warmth in the room, a hush that feels alive, a whisper of something unseen. As if the soul hasn't departed just yet, as if it's pausing, hovering gently between here and elsewhere. And the question that stirs so many hearts is this: how long does a soul linger after death? There's no single answer, but the truth is sacred. Because when the body surrenders, the soul doesn't always rise immediately. For some, the crossing is swift, like vapor rising into air. For others, it's slower, more tender, a gradual unraveling, not measured in minutes or hours, but in a deeper rhythm, one woven of emotion, understanding, and release. The soul doesn't travel by clock. It moves through feeling, through purpose, through love. In those first moments after death, the soul often lingers nearby, observing, listening, trying to understand what has just occurred. Imagine waking from a vivid dream, only to find the world unrecognizable. There's a softness in the air, a fog of uncertainty. Many don't even realize they've passed. There are countless accounts of souls floating above their bodies, watching scenes unfold from a quiet distance. Not in fear, but in wonder. Curious, calm, asking silently, why can't they hear me? Why can't I touch them anymore? Why are they crying? And within that stillness, the soul begins to remember. But not every soul lets go quickly. Many remain tethered to this world, not by force, not by punishment, but by threads spun from memory, from love, from unspoken words. If you've ever loved someone so deeply that leaving them feels impossible, then you understand why some souls stay close. Love doesn't end at death. If anything, it amplifies. It calls the soul to linger, to watch over, to comfort. These are the presences you may sense in quiet hours, in dreams, in sudden signs that arrive when your heart is aching. They haven't gone far. They've just changed form, becoming a presence that doesn't speak with words, but with a knowing that echoes inside you. But love isn't the only reason a soul may stay. There are also the unresolved stories, the regrets, the words never spoken. Some leave this life with hearts heavy with apology, with grief they never unpacked. They hover near the ones they couldn't protect, or the ones they harmed, still trying somehow to make it right. And sometimes they linger not in love, but in fear. Fear of what lies beyond, fear of judgment, fear of letting go. So they pause, not imprisoned, just uncertain. You may wonder, what does this lingering feel like for them? It's not walking through walls or floating above buildings. It's more like drifting through an emotional current, where thoughts paint the sky and feelings create landscapes. Many describe it as a dreamlike in-between, where the soul sees not only the world it left, but the ripple of its every action. Not punishment, awareness. In that space, the soul encounters itself. Some are embraced by peace right away, a warmth that lifts them. Others are met by beings of light, guides that feel like home, even if they were strangers in this lifetime. These presences don't force, they invite. They offer understanding. They open a doorway to what comes next. But walking through that doorway depends on one thing: the soul's readiness. And readiness is never rushed. Some souls need to witness their memorial, to see who shows up, to feel how they're remembered, not from pride, but from a need for closure. Others return to the places they loved. They revisit old homes, walk familiar paths, replay moments like scenes in a memory film. Not to haunt, but to reflect, to release, to say their own unspoken farewells. Then there are those who resist leaving altogether, not because they're lost, not because they're evil, but because something inside them believes they must stay. Maybe they still feel responsible. Maybe they think their loved ones won't survive without them. Maybe their passing was sudden or traumatic and they haven't caught up to it yet. If you've ever stepped into a room and felt a weight you couldn't explain, a presence without a body, this could be why. A soul still clinging to what was unfinished, still trying to complete what life didn't allow. But here's something sacred. No soul remains unseen. Even in confusion, even in resistance, there are guides who wait with endless patience. They don't command, they don't shame, they shine steadily, like stars behind a storm. They hold the vibration of home until the soul is ready to return. And when that readiness arrives, not from defeat but from trust, the soul begins to rise. Not upward like smoke into air, but inward, like remembering something ancient and true. The light that greets them is not a place, it is recognition, reunion, a re-immersion into all they have always been. And how long does that take? In soul time, the question doesn't quite fit. Time stretches, it bends. What feels like a moment to us might be vast to them, and what seems like forever to us might be just a breath from their side. Earth marks time by hours, the soul marks time by realization, and realization takes its own pace. So asking how long a soul lingers isn't just a curiosity, it's a doorway to deeper grief, to healing, and to the mystery of loving beyond form. Because when someone we love dies, part of us pleads, are they still here? Can they feel me? Do they know I still speak to them? And more often than not, the answer is yes. Because the soul doesn't vanish, it transforms. It expands into subtler dimensions of reality. But in that expansion, it can remain near, especially when the bond is strong, or the goodbye was sudden, or the connection incomplete. There is a sacred window after death, a liminal realm, a borderland between physical and spiritual, one foot still echoing here, the other stepping into the beyond. It is in this sacred in-between that the soul treads carefully, not as a ghost, but as a presence, a witness, a quiet vibration of love. Here, love becomes both anchor and beacon. Some remain close not out of confusion, but commitment, a father keeping his promise to his daughter, a grandmother whose prayers still circle the crib. These souls stay not to haunt, but to hold space, to bless, to keep watch, to honor promises spoken with the heart. But others pause in pain, wrapped in sorrow, regret, disbelief. Maybe they didn't get a chance to say goodbye. Maybe they fear death so deeply in life that they now can't accept what's happened. Maybe they're still clutching an old wound or unfinished story. And in this state of pause, the soul isn't judged. It's met with compassion, but also with reflection. Because what the soul carries from life doesn't dissolve instantly. It rises to be seen, to be acknowledged. And until it's fully embraced, it can gently delay the next step of the journey. Imagine a soul stepping out of its body like stepping out of a familiar coat. At first, there's disorientation. The body was structure, identity, boundary. Now the soul is open, fluid, aware, but also unsure, like waking in a world made of thought and feeling, where nothing obeys the old rules. Here, emotion shapes form, intention creates movement, and there are no lies in this realm, only revelation. And if the soul leaves life with open wounds or unresolved love, it will be gently invited, not forced, to face what it could not face before. But this pause is not a punishment, it is grace, it is sacred space, a chance for the soul to explore what life didn't heal, to understand, to forgive, to be forgiven. And some do linger long, not because they are forgotten, but because they are remembering, because love takes its time.